Welcome to the curious case of Depp versus Heard. I'm Kate Snow. Tonight we're going to break down the defamation trial of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, the case grabbing so much attention. We'll talk about how that spotlight may impact the trial and the way we talk about domestic abuse. But first, Steve Patterson has everything you need to know.
It's the age-old Hollywood story. A longtime leading man in a meet-cute with the silver screen's next it girl. From this big screen spark to a red carpet romance. But behind closed doors, a much darker story played out, leading to a monumental collapse of trust, stunning allegations, and betrayal. A Tinseltown marriage devolving into tabloid divorce. Now the world is watching two scorned lovers duel in a Virginia courtroom, revealing some of their ugliest, most intimate moments.
Miss Heard, in her frustration and in her rage and her anger, she would strike out. She would. It could begin with a slap. It could begin with a shove.
Did Mr. Depp abuse you physically?
Yes.
Verbally?
Yes.
Emotionally?
Yes.
Psychologically?
Yes.
Their legal drama, the trial of the century for Gen Z, creating an entire internet subculture and fueling debates about power, celebrity, and alleged domestic abuse. This is the curious case of Depp versus Heard. For 6 weeks now, this bizarre morning ritual at Fairfax County Circuit Court. A chorus of fans clamoring for a peek or even a seat inside has become the opening fanfare to the daily courtroom blood sport. Since mid-April, attorneys for Amber Heard and Johnny Depp have been locked in a no-holds-barred legal battle. The case stemming from a 2018 Washington Post op-ed penned by Heard, in which she called herself a public figure representing domestic abuse. While the article never mentioned Depp by name, the actor maintains the implication was clear and costly, saying he's lost big roles and the paychecks that come with them.
Her accusations had sort of permeated the industry and then made its way through media and social media.
Now, Depp, the plaintiff, is suing Heard for $50 million, claiming his ex-wife defamed him with her allegations of domestic abuse. In fact, he insists she was the aggressor. The trial has unfolded before a cluster of cameras, broadcasting every turn of phrase and facial tic to millions watching at home and online. The Depp-Heard legal battle has become a phenomenon nationwide, thanks in part to the lurid nature of the testimony.
There's a photograph of the bed, our bed, and on my side of the bed was human fecal matter.
Spawning a viral subculture on platforms like Instagram and TikTok with millions of views and breakout stars.
Did I read that right?
You did.
Did I read that right?
You continue to read them right.
You poured yourself a mega pint of red wine, correct?
A mega pint.
Even parodied on Saturday Night Live.
You mentioned that Miss Heard left fecal matter in your bed.
That is correct.
Gawkers, wrapped by cameos from celebrity witnesses like actress Ellen Barkin, who dated Depp in the 90s, stating his volatility goes back decades.
Mr. Depp threw a wine bottle across the room, the hotel room on one instance.
And supermodel Kate Moss, another Depp ex, called on his behalf to deny a rumor of abuse.
He never pushed me, kicked me, or threw me down any stairs.
And of course, those clamoring fans.
I think he'll prevail. Yep. He's Johnny Depp.
Making pilgrimages from Los Angeles, Texas, even Australia, just to be close to the action. A chance to see Hollywood royalty live at their lowest point.
And the evidence will show that Ms. Heard's false allegations had a significant impact on Mr. Depp's family and his ability to work in the profession he loved. A false allegation can devastate a career, and it can devastate a family.
Amber Heard is countersuing Depp for $100 million. The actress maintains she was repeatedly physically and sexually abused by Depp.
He has punched her, he has kicked her, he tells her he's going to fucking kill her, he fucking hates her. That's the Johnny Depp that you're going to hear about in this case.
The Depp legal team's opening salvo featured scores of witnesses, all testifying to Depp's character. They chronicled key arguments, incidents, and fights between the couple over the course of their 2-year marriage.
It's not fair. It's not right what she did and what happened for so many people to get affected from this.
The bulk of the testimony came from the plaintiff's star witness, Depp himself.
I've never struck a woman.
The Pirates of the Caribbean star admitted the couples often fought, but repeatedly denied he was physically abusive.
But never did I myself reach the point of striking Ms. Heard in any way.
To bolster his case against abuse allegations, the actor alleged a family history of domestic violence at the hands of his mother.
She could become quite violent, and she was quite violent, and she was quite cruel, and though there was physical abuse, certainly, which could be in the form of an ashtray being flung at you, it hits you in the head, or you'd get beat with a high-heel shoe.
Painting a parallel with his ex-wife.
You start to slowly realize that you are in a relationship with your mother.
Depp not only told the jury he wasn't violent toward Heard, but he flipped the allegations on their head by saying it was she, not Depp, who was abusive in the relationship. Depp said one of those alleged blow-ups came during a major fight in Australia while Depp was filming for the Pirates franchise, alleging Heard threw a bottle of vodka at him, severing his finger. The court was shown graphic photos as evidence.
Ms. Heard was flinging insults left, right, and center, and she then grabbed that bottle and threw that at me.
Heard disputed those allegations. During cross-examination, Heard's team began to lay out their defense, that Depp was prone to bouts of rage fueled by constant alcohol and drug abuse. In court, Heard's attorneys read text messages between Depp and his friend, actor Paul Bettany.
You text Mr. Bettany, "Let's burn Amber." 3 exclamation points, right? You see that?
I do see that.
And at this time, June 11, 2013, Amber is your girlfriend, or perhaps even your fiance at this point, correct?
Girlfriend,
yeah,
for sure.
And you didn't stop when you said, "Let's burn Amber." After you said, "Let's drown her before we burn her," Mr. Depp, you said, "I will her burnt corpse afterwards to make sure she is dead." That's what you said that you would do after you burned her and after you drowned her. Did I read that right?
You certainly did, yes.
And you wrote that about the woman who would later become your wife.
Though Depp claimed those texts were not meant to be taken seriously. And the defense later showing this video appearing to show Depp enraged.
What happened? Nothing happened this morning, you know that?
Were you in here?
No.
So then nothing happened to you this morning?
Yeah, you're right. I just woke up and you were so sweet and nice. We were not even fighting this morning. All I did was say sorry.
Did something happen to you this morning? I don't think so.
Depp testified that Heard's accounts of their tempestuous relationship amounted to emotional abuse, professionally harmful insults added to injury.
In the harassment and the humiliation, the campaign against me that's echoed every single day on social media and now in front of cameras in this room. Every single day I have to relive the trauma. My hands shake, I wake up screaming. I have to live with the trauma and the damage done to me. My friends have to live with a set of unspoken rules about how to not scare me.
But when the spotlight turned to Amber Heard, the actress alleged repeated instances of abuse throughout their 4-year relationship.
Hit me over and over and over again, and I thought, this is how I die. He's gonna kill me now. Just pulls his arm back with the phone and throws it at my face. Hit me right in it felt like my eye. He grabbed me by the arm, and he kind of just held me on the floor, screaming at me. I don't know how many times he hit me in the face.
The actress's lawyers introduced photos they say back up her claims, and according to Heard, Depp's physical assaults included sexual abuse.
He's like grabbing my breasts, he's touching my thighs, he rips my underwear off, proceeds to do a cavity search. He said he was looking for his drugs. That was the love of my life. He was also this other thing. And that other thing was awful. Protecting the secret that I did for as long as I did has taken enough of my voice. Johnny has taken enough of my voice. I have the right to tell my story. I have the right to say what happened to me. I have the right to my voice and my name. He took it long enough. I have a right as an American to talk about what happened to me, to own my story and my truth. I have that right. I hope to get my voice back. It's all I want.
Depp's attorneys push back on Heard's account hard.
There aren't any medical records reflecting that you sought medical treatment for any of these injuries, are there?
I did not seek medical treatment after Australia, no.
Not for the rape?
No, I did not want to tell anyone.
You weren't scared of him at all, were you?
This is a man who tried to kill me. Of course it's scary. He's also my husband.
Those photos of Heard's injuries, Depp's attorneys questioned their authenticity, wondering how she could hit the red carpet the day after a supposed battery.
Your nose doesn't appear to be injured in any of these pictures, does it, Miss Heard?
That's why I'm wearing makeup.
Right. And makeup covers up swelling, right?
Makeup will not cover up swelling. Ice will, though.
Ice will cover up swelling?
Ice reduces swelling.
And Depp's team revealed its own evidence, recordings they hoped would prove to jurors that it was Heard who instigated fights.
You got hit. I'm sorry I hit you like this, but I did not punch you. I did not deck you. I was hitting you. I don't know what the motion of my actual hand was, but you're fine. I did not hurt you. I did not punch you. I was hitting you.
In a contentious cross-examination, Depp's attorney hammered the actress, throwing her angry words back at Heard.
You called him a sellout,
I just
right, Miss
disagree.
Heard? You called him a sellout, right, Miss Heard?
I called him a lot of ugly things.
And a joke.
I called him a lot of ugly things.
You called him a joke on that recording. You called him a washed-up piece of shit.
Also eliciting testimony meant to cast doubt on Heard's claims that Depp was the abuser in the relationship. Now, after 6 weeks of trial testimony from dozens of witnesses, their very tumultuous personal story has played out for the world to see on full display. The final act in a Hollywood drama nobody wanted to see and few could resist watching. A cover-ready power couple reduced to tearful accusations and raging countercharges, laying bare the most sordid details of their glamorous lives. Two movie stars, once beloved by legions of fans, now looking to win over just 7 jurors. It's a smaller audience with greater stakes, millions of dollars dangling at the end of this cliffhanger. Still ahead, more from the trial and how the online obsession with this case is having a real-life impact.
On Friday, the final act of a drama that has played out in court, on television, and across the internet.
As Ms. Vasquez said, you have now come to know the real Amber Heard. Scary.
Lawyers for Johnny Depp in their closing arguments attempting to summarize weeks of evidence and testimony, painting Amber Heard as someone suffering from borderline personality disorder, according to a psychologist who assessed Heard.
A person with these disorders will suffer from dramatically fluctuating moods and can sometimes be violent and aggressive. They can also be charming and likable.
The diagnosis not denied by Heard's lawyers. Depp's team also emphasizing the lack of hard evidence of abuse.
What you didn't hear on a single recording you heard in this case and there were many played by both parties. Is Mr. Depp ever admitting to hitting, punching, or kicking Ms. Heard? Ms. Heard has told you that she has mountains of evidence of abuse, but there are no medical records.
And accusing Heard of thinly veiled acting in court.
Ms. Heard's acting coach, Christina Sexton, testified that Ms. Heard has difficulty crying when she is acting. You saw it. Ms. Heard sobbing without tears, while spinning elaborate, exaggerated, fantastical accounts of abuse. It was a performance.
At one point, listing the numerous witnesses they had called to back up Depp's account. But on the last day of this trial, the focus was on proving that Heard's allegations were defamatory and had cost the actor millions of dollars in lost acting gigs.
Mr. Depp wasn't canceled by Hollywood because he was sometimes late to set. He was canceled because Ms. Heard falsely accused him of domestic violence and sexual violence on the pages of the Washington Post on December 18, 2018.
Meanwhile, lawyers for Amber Heard wrapping their defense and their $100 million countersuit by going after the attacks on their client's credibility.
If you didn't take pictures, it didn't happen. If you did take pictures, they're fake. If you didn't tell your friends, you're lying. And if you did tell your friends, they're part of the hoax. If you didn't seek medical treatment, you weren't injured. If you did seek medical treatment, you're crazy.
In turn, attacking the trustworthiness of Depp's witnesses.
Ms. Vasquez read a parade of witnesses that she believes support Johnny's defense in this case. But as you've seen over the course of this proceeding, these witnesses, as I previewed in the opening, almost all of them are witnesses on his payroll. They're all scared to say anything bad about him.
And denying any claims of financial motive.
They call her a gold digger, right? But she obviously couldn't have done it for the money. She could have divorced him for irreconcilable differences, and she gets 50% of whatever he earns during the time of the marriage.
Heard's lawyers countering Depp's defamation claims by pointing out what they called constitutional rights.
Your key question to answer is, does the First Amendment give Ms. Heard the right to write the words that she wrote in this article?
And underlying the high burden of proof that's required in a defamation case.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me be very clear. If Amber was abused by Mr. Depp even one time, then she wins. One time. And we're not just talking about physical abuse. We're talking about emotional abuse, psychological abuse, financial abuse, sexual abuse.
Now, after weeks of evidence, heated questioning, and a media circus, it comes down to the 7 jurors who have sat through it all. Whose case was more convincing? And who defamed whom? All up for deliberation, just off stage. Coming up, how social media has devoured this trial and whether that has implications for how we view survivors of domestic violence. Welcome back to The Curious Case of Depp versus Heard. I'm Kate Snow. We've shown you intense testimony from the 6-week Johnny Depp-Amber Heard defamation trial, both sides making claims of abuse. But online, those serious allegations are becoming memes and jokes, the case taking over social media where everyone seems to have an opinion. To help us make sense of what's happening and the impact that all that could have on how people treat survivors of domestic violence, I'm joined by Kat Tenbarge, tech and culture reporter for NBC News, Liz Plank, MSNBC columnist and author of For the Love of Men, A Vision for Mindful Masculinity, and Sherry Botwin, psychotherapist and author of Thriving After Trauma, Stories of Living and Healing. So glad to have 3 powerhouse women with me. Kat, let's start with you as a reporter. How would you characterize what has happened with this particular trial online on social media?
It's been like a faucet. I haven't seen anything like it. Every single social media platform is dominated by conversations about this case. And all of that conversation, for the most part, centers around the idea that Amber has lied and that Johnny Depp is the victim of her domestic abuse.
And younger audience, it feels to me, as an older person, it feels like it's Gen Z. Like there's a lot of 20-somethings really sort of this is their O.J. Simpson in a way.
There definitely has been, I would say, an outpouring of conversation among the people who are most frequenting these social media platforms. So when you look at a site like TikTok, there's a huge young audience that's contributing content. There are also increasingly more and more people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s getting on these platforms and using them to share their viewpoints.
Yeah. Liz, I went on TikTok this afternoon to look, just to do a search for Amber Heard, and I really couldn't believe how many, I am on TikTok, by the way, but like I couldn't believe how many, there were people doing lip syncs to her, you know, really making fun of a woman who says she's survived, who's alleging abuse. What does this mean for the larger conversation in this country?
Yeah, that's a great question. A lot of us have watched this trial and thought, oh my gosh, there's so much that's being revealed about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard that we didn't know, that they didn't want us to know. But I think that this trial is revealing so much about us and ourselves and the way that we're responding to it. To your point, you know, we used to burn witches and watch them, you know, sort of suffer on the outside. And now it's through memes, it's through TikToks, right? That same humiliation to see women suffer, you know, from the inside.
Sherry, let me ask you about the trauma, because that's your specialty. How does the mockery impact the actual person? Right? I mean, she talked about it a little bit today. And again, she's making allegations, Amber Heard, of abuse. Johnny Depp has also accused her of abusing him. So I guess you could ask, if either of them truly is a survivor of abuse, what does it mean to have it played out so publicly?
I think it really it stirs up so much shame. And I think it's such a distraction from what's really going on. These are two people, from what I see, that are in so much pain. They have awful childhood histories. And I think what people do on social media is they look at these testimonies, and some of the people that are posting and making fun are survivors themselves. I think what's happening is people don't want to deal with their own feelings. They don't want to accept that this is something that can happen. And I think we're so quick to judge. We don't really even know, nobody really knows what's happening behind closed doors. So my concern with social media and all the mockery is all the people out here that are struggling, that are currently living in domestic violent relationships. They're not going to want to say anything. They're going to be more afraid now than ever. And that really, really concerns me.
Yeah, that's always the fear, right? That it silences others who really need help. Kat, there is a money aspect to this, too. Yes. Social media now, influencers, you study this for a living, I don't have to tell you, they make money sometimes for posting content. How is that playing into this particular moment?
Yes, it's really hard to just put into words how powerful the algorithmic juice has been around this case. For example, you have creators on platforms like YouTube who previously were getting hundreds of views on videos about anything, ranging from video games to music to art. All of a sudden, they're pumping out videos about this trial, videos that make Johnny Depp look good and make Amber Heard look bad, because those are the only ones that people want to see. And they're being able to make money for the first time ever. They're getting viral videos off of this case, getting millions of views when before they had no audience.
Are those the dominant ones? Are they, I mean, you know, you keep saying it's glorifying Johnny Depp, but that is the dominant stream, right?
Oh, yes.
It's not the other way.
Up until recently, you really couldn't find any TikToks in support of Amber Heard. Wow. The entire platform was pro Johnny Depp. And I've heard from those creators themselves that if someone comments and says that they have a neutral position or they think that maybe Amber is a victim, they immediately get dogpiled, harassed, abused themselves in these comment sections, and no one wants to speak up in support of Amber Heard.
Yeah, and we don't know who's telling the truth. We don't know who's lying. That'll be for the jury to decide. But what is true and what Kat is pointing to is this glamorization of Johnny Depp.
What does it mean for that? Are we at the end of Me Too? Is this a reversal? Where are we?
I mean, it's a backlash to Me Too. What we're seeing happen and the stereotypes that are coming out, right, that are calling Amber Heard a liar, who are glorifying Johnny Depp as this amazing man, right, is the reason why Me Too started. It's why activists really wanted to fight for this movement and why it's so important, because women didn't feel, and you know, survivors of all genders didn't feel like they could report, didn't feel like it was going to be welcome. And what we're seeing unfold on the internet is that we're proving them right. We're saying that, yes, you will be silenced, you will be humiliated.
Sherry, do you want to answer that one too, about Me Too?
So I feel like we're definitely going backwards. But here's what I want to say. When people hear about domestic violence, they say they support the victims. The problem here is that when it's somebody that we know, somebody that we maybe like, people don't want to believe that somebody that maybe they looked up to or enjoyed watching in the movies or had like an idea of who this person was, they don't want to have to think this person is really capable of doing what's alleged in court. And I feel like part of the problem here also is the myth around domestic violence. There's so much victim blaming and shaming. And I think people are so quick to say, he's the bad one, she's the one that got hurt, or vice versa. In toxic relationships like the one that I think we're seeing play out in court, it's often both of them that are provoking each other. And I feel like part of what we're trying to do with #MeToo is say, if you're a victim of sexual assault or you live in a domestic violence relationship, you should not be made to feel like you are the cause of that. It's not so black and white. And I think all these videos and the myths that we've been trying to dispel, they're getting played out on social media right now. And it's so not okay.
Liz Plank, Kat Tenbarge, Sherry Botwin, thank you all so much. A really interesting conversation. Appreciate it. For any developments on this case, you can tune into NBC News Now. I'm Kate Snow. Thank you so much for watching.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.